The full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Time to face your fears and take out the trash. Hello, beautiful people. Life can be a challenge, but at least we have each other. Now, this full moon lunar eclipse is going to be emotionally intense, and it's also going to bring some major opportunities your way. So in the first part of this video, I'm going to go over the 3 things that everyone should know about this eclipse. Then I will go over how it will affect your individual sign, and all I ask in return is that you give that like button a little tap. A baby tap. Tap. Okay, no more wasting time. Let's go. Now, this full moon in Scorpio takes place on Monday, May 16th at 4:14 a.m. Universal Time, which would be 9:14 p.m. on Sunday, May 15th if you're on Pacific Time, 12:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the morning of Monday, May 16th. And for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, this will be at 2:14 p.m. on Monday, May 16th if you're in Sydney, Australia, and 6:14 a.m. on the same day in Johannesburg, South Africa. So let's jump right into the top 3 things you need to know so you can make the most of this energetic opening. Number 1. This full moon carries that powerful manifesting energy of the number 6 and the number 7 and the magical tarot energy of the death card. And I know the death card can sound and even look terrifying, but you will be very excited to hear what its energy has to offer. Now, the number 6 in numerology represents love and deep emotion, the embodiment of your heart's healing capability and connection to unconditional love. So this is a time where you can heal from challenging relationships and experiences from your past, and you can heal the current relationships in your life, especially those of a romantic nature. So if any of you have been wanting to resolve any situation in your relationship or reconnect when it comes to your partnerships, then this full moon is the absolute perfect time to communicate and connect, because it truly amplifies compassion and empathy and the strength to tell the truth. Now, the number 7 in numerology represents the power of approaching a subject from a more intellectual perspective as opposed to an emotional one. It reveals how analyzing a situation and gathering the facts before deciding how to move forward can be just as powerful, if not more powerful at times, than just addressing how you feel about something. So this embodies that Scorpio energy of extremes, allowing us to harness that sort of power and uncover what is real for you. And there is nothing more powerful than truth. Now, the death card represents endings, but endings that lead to transformation and change and purging negative energy. So harnessing this power in your life can give you the strength to truly say no more will you engage in behavior or in relationships that you know bring you down and block you from achieving fulfillment and happiness. This full moon in Scorpio is your chance to change things from their depth of origin just by identifying them and then making the choice to make the commitment to yourself that whatever it is will no longer play that sort of role in your life. Number 2, this full moon will be in opposition to the sun in Taurus, to Uranus in Taurus, and will also form a challenging aspect with Saturn in Aquarius. Not to mention, Mercury will be retrograde in Gemini. So it will be so important to not allow any part of you that is resistant to change to win over here. It will be very easy to say to yourself, yes, endings sound exciting, but they're also really scary because they mean new beginnings. And when you approach anything new, fears come into play. So don't give into sitting in the familiar. Don't give into fear. Now, on the positive side, it will form very positive aspects with Neptune in Pisces and Pluto in Capricorn. Just know that you taking the leap and facing your fears during this time can help ignite the positive energy of the relationship the full moon has with Neptune and Pluto, which when it comes to Pluto will uncover those buried emotions, and when it comes to Neptune, it will facilitate that true deep healing. But you must do your part by taking that leap into the unknown and by embracing those necessary endings, which brings me to number 3. Yes, this full moon is a lunar eclipse, and this works hand in hand with 1 and 2 because when the sun blocks the light that creates a full moon, it actually serves to reset your emotional cycle, while the shadow it creates reveals the hidden. So this is an energetic opening to change your current emotional state, transforming that energy and giving birth to an emotional state grounded in optimism, not fear, and in your potential, not your pain. Now, this will be especially intense with major possibilities for change for those of you that have a moon in Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. It will also be positive for those of you that have a moon in Capricorn and a moon in Virgo. And it will be a positive opportunity, but may cause some serious emotional waves and challenges in your relationships if your moon is in Taurus. Now, it will be a balancing energy with major transformative properties for those of you with a moon in Aries, Sagittarius, Gemini, and Libra. And it will have the potential for positive change, yes, yes, but it will also bring some conflict to your relationships, especially those of a romantic nature for those of you with a moon in Leo or Aquarius. Now let's jump right into what this full moon lunar eclipse will mean for your individual sign. Okay, my powerful Aries, this full moon lunar eclipse will be in your 8th house, and the 8th house is all about death, rebirth, reinvention, and transformation. And these themes will be connected to the parts of your life that relate to your financial world in terms of balance and your relationship world, but with a focus on the sexual connection and expression in your relationships. So this full moon comes with a wide range and a deep well of possibilities, Aries. If you feel like you have any issues surrounding your manifesting powers with financial abundance, this full moon is urging you to look at the balance of give and take in your life. So during this full moon energy, look for a situation or a circumstance that may come up where it is revealing to you that that part of your life is out of balance. Either you may find yourself getting fed up with the fact that you feel like you're someone that is always in the giving role, or you may have a conflict that comes up where someone confronts you because they feel like they're the ones that are always giving and you're the one that's always receiving. Just know that this is an opportunity for you to heal this area of your life by making sure that there is a balance moving forward, which will actually serve to remove any blocks that you may have had with money, especially when it comes to relationships. That will be the death of that sort of energy and the rebirth of a new energy that lends to abundance. Now, this is also a time where major healing can come if you've had any sort of circumstances in your past where you may have been victimized, and as a result, you may have some challenges that arise relative to your comfort when it comes to expressing yourself sexually or connecting with someone in a physical way. This is the time, Aries, where you can really take your power back by embracing the idea that yes, it is horrible that things happen to us in life at times where we have no control, but we always have the choice to recognize that by releasing any attachment to the experience, we can begin to operate from a space free from that trauma, stepping into who you are now and not allowing what happened to you in the past to influence your choices or perspective in the present, releasing anger, resentment, hurt, frustration, and any other emotion connected to the experience. Not because you're saying that it's okay that the experience happened, but because you are saying from this point on, you refuse to allow victimization of your past to overpower the strength and resilience that you have right now in your life as the present you. So Aries, this will be an intense full moon for you, but intensely good because it will restore your power, balance, and vision moving forward into the future. So happy full moon, Aries. Okay, my powerful Taurus, this full moon lunar eclipse will be in your 7th house. So Taurus, this is all about relationships for you, both romantic and otherwise. For one thing, this 7 energy will be extra strong for you. And remember, the energy of the number 7 relates to getting to the root of issues and uncovering the truth. So this has many possibilities for you, Taurus. This could mean if there is a past relationship that you've had a hard time getting over, then this full moon can for sure bring the power of resolution that may be revealing new information to you that will help you to process and release that situation from your consciousness and from your heart. The new moon in Taurus was all about self. Now this full moon in Scorpio is bringing the opportunity to focus on others and what it is that you bring to their world. It's easy to establish what it is that you want out of a relationship, but can you just as easily establish what it is that you bring to a relationship? And it can't be contingent on the other person's behavior, meaning you can't say, well, I'm a loving person if someone treats me right, or I'm easy to get along with if I trust someone. This full moon can bring up a situation or circumstance, whether it be on a date or a relationship that you already are in, where there's a heavy focus on someone pointing out where you may fall short of meeting their needs. If this comes up, try not to get defensive. Instead, attempt to see their perspective. Use it as an opportunity to be better. Not in terms of being a doormat, obviously. Don't turn into a people pleaser, but make sure that the balance of give and take is there and that it is not conditional. Allowing yourself to approach this subject with honesty and self-awareness can be a life-changing moment for you, Taurus, leading to more fulfilling and loving relationships. So be ready, Taurus. You got this, and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Geminis. This full moon lunar eclipse will be in your 6th house. So Geminis, this amplifies that number 6 energy that I was speaking about in the top 3 things you need to know portion. So don't be surprised if a situation comes up in your life during this time that requires healing, especially of a physical nature as opposed to an emotional nature. This could be a health issue that really gets intensified during this time, that either comes out of nowhere or is something that you know has been going on and you've been ignoring it or avoiding it. So don't be afraid or nervous. The reason for this to come to light is so that the healing energy can take hold and start to resolve this situation. So make sure you are doing your part by going to whatever checkup you need to go to or making whatever changes in your life that you know would benefit you health-wise. Also, if you're seeing the number 6 or variations of that number more often than usual, just know that it's a sign that the universe has your back and the healing is already taking place. This full moon can also bring up some intense feelings around what it is that you do for a living, Gemini. So if a situation comes up in your professional world, don't be distracted by the details of the situation. Instead, just ask yourself what the situation is showing you in terms of what steps you can take to resolve the situation, and also to make sure that those sort of circumstances don't show up in your life again. For example, if you get reprimanded for, let's say, being late to work, instead of going into all the reasons why it happened, just think to yourself, okay, what can I do to make sure this never happens again? Remember, a full moon is all about necessary endings in order to step into new beginnings. So it's time to clean house when it comes to your spiritual world and your physical world, Geminis. So that way you can move forward with a renewed spark of optimism supported by certainty. You deserve to feel that freedom. So look out for these sort of situations so you can use them to your benefit when it comes to creating the life that you deserve. So happy full moon, Geminis. Okay, my powerful Cancers, this full moon lunar eclipse will be in your 5th house. So this may very well bring an opportunity or situation where you will be called upon to step out of your shell, Cancers, and be at the forefront of a group. Much of the time in social situations, you tend to be more introverted when you are uncomfortable or when you're in unfamiliar territory. This full moon is bringing along the energy for you to start feeling more confident in your own skin, being you, no matter what is around you. You usually do love yourself and you have a pretty healthy perspective of self in terms of you approving of who you are. However, fear of judgment from outside sources can really become a block in your life, and this full moon is here to help you break down that block. So if a situation comes up for you to speak up for yourself or take a risk and allow yourself to stand out from the crowd, however this manifests for you during this full moon, be ready to take that opportunity, especially if it manifests in some sort of conflict, because if you find yourself speaking up for you or anyone else and your perspective is met with pushback, don't shut down. Don't walk away, don't go silent, take a deep breath, and don't personalize the situation. Stay focused on what the solution is and allow yourself to debate or negotiate and communicate in the most practical way possible in order to reach common ground. Going against that nature of yours to shut down will actually break something open inside of you, showing the universe your growth. And when you show the universe your growth, that means that your capacity to receive, your ability to manifest, that also grows as well, and abundance begins to flow. So use this full moon as a chance to challenge yourself to work through any emotional issue that comes up without taking anything as a personal attack. Instead, operate from that space within you that is compassionate, intelligent, strong, and very capable of implementing solutions even in the midst of difficult energy. This is going to be an exciting one for you, Cancers. You may even surprise yourself with how good you will feel if you approach any challenge that arises with this new perspective. Remember, whenever you do something outside of your comfort zone that is good for you, we all have this capacity to receive, our spiritual vessel. The moment you do something that makes you uncomfortable, that actually expands your vessel. So you'll be able to manifest more. That's why so many people that have manifested so much have been successful in life. We hear stories of all the challenges that they've been through, because when they go through these challenges and they rise to the occasion by doing something that's uncomfortable for them, then each and every time they overcome that challenge by expanding who they are, they expand their capacity to receive, they expand their spiritual vessel, and they just continue to grow. And that's what this full moon is bringing to you, is an opportunity for you to do the same thing regarding those circumstances that we discussed. So happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Leos, this full moon lunar eclipse will be in your 4th house, which will also carry the vibration of the number 4. So be prepared, Leo, for a situation to come up where you may be called upon to handle some responsibility relative to your home situation. It could be something as small as having to replace something in your home, or it could also be some unexpected bill showing up, or it could even be something related to a relationship with a family member. But whatever it is. Don't worry in anticipation. Instead, just know that this is an opportunity for you to actually diminish any anxiety that you may have around the stability of your home situation. By this I mean whatever circumstance that comes up, you will see that once you just take a deep breath and focus on resolving it, it will quickly get resolved, and painlessly most of the time, which will show you that things are never really as bad as they seem when we foreshadow them in our mind with the what if scary scenarios. And negative outcomes are especially diminished when we make sure to tend to issues as soon as they show up. This is with your physical home as well as your spiritual home. When something comes up emotionally for you, it will always be in your best interest to address it immediately. Even if you think that they won't receive it well, because if you don't address it and you just think to yourself, oh, it's not that serious or it'll work itself out, then you're opening the door for a lesson to be learned. And when the universe is in control of teaching us the lesson, as opposed to us embracing the opportunity when it first shows up, then it can come in a much more challenging circumstance because it's the universe trying to force us into learning the lesson, so that way we can't avoid it. So the main focus here, Leos, is using this full moon fourth house energy to say, okay, I'm going to make sure and make a commitment to never use avoidance or procrastination as an option when I'm dealing with anything, especially the things that can affect my security and foundation. So if any circumstances that are challenging come up during this full moon, and more than likely they will, be excited because it's your opportunity to show the universe that yes, you understand, that the lessons that you learn, you will implement. And because of this, the odds of more lessons of a similar nature coming your way will be greatly diminished, adding to the freedom of new and exciting adventures, which is what you love, Leos, so embrace the opportunity and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Virgos, this full moon will be in your third house. So Virgos, be ready for a situation to come up with either a neighbor or a brother or a sister where you will have the opportunity to express exactly how you feel about something. So you can take one of two approaches if this comes up. The first approach being not holding back, just being painfully direct or honest, or the other approach where you think, you know what, you already know exactly how the other person's gonna respond, so you decide to hold back on exactly how you feel, and instead you just either don't say anything at all, or you just avoid being direct and you say something to change the subject. Now, the situation is coming up because this full moon is giving you the opportunity to begin expressing how you feel from a more emotional than logical place. Now, I know as a Virgo, you're saying, well, I'm not ruled by my emotions and facts don't care about your feelings, which as an earth sign, I completely understand, but this is less about sticking to the facts and more about expressing your truth, but also taking into consideration the other person's perspective and being open to those perspectives and standing strong in your truth at the same time, which is possible. This will be a huge opening for you because much of the time you find that standing in your truth may lead you to be closed off to any other opinion. But the two can coexist, and this is where the magic will happen for you, Virgo. You are so intelligent and so capable, but you tend to get in your own way at times by shutting down a perspective because it doesn't immediately add up or make sense to the way that you perceive the world. So use this full moon as an opportunity to take that intelligent mind of yours and integrate that depth of emotion that you do have without having to compartmentalize the two, so that way they operate independently of each other. See what circumstances arise that give you the chance to operate from the space where your intellect and your emotions work as a team that work well together, so that way they result in the perfect balance of compassion and clarity. This is going to be a very interesting full moon for you, Virgos. It will be really fun to see what sort of situation comes up that sparks this sort of topic for you. It will be an exciting challenge for you, and I have full faith that you are up for the challenge. So happy full moon, Virgos. Okay, my powerful Libras, this full moon for you will be in your second house. So this is going to be a huge one for you, Libras. This full moon will bring the opportunity for you to finally break the hold that any financial situation has on you. Meaning if you have someone in your life that is controlling or manipulative, that thinks they have that power over you because of their financial situation, then this will be your opportunity to really end that connection and move on with strength. And this will also apply to your perspective. Meaning if you're the type of person that naturally worries about money in your future, even if there's nothing to worry about in the present moment, then this full moon will bring the energy for you to finally transform that mental connection and perspective that you do have with the material world, where you'll be able to finally say to yourself, what am I worried about? You'll realize that as long as you don't operate from a place of lack, as long as you stay consistent in terms of doing your part to facilitate a flow with finances, and as long as you don't operate from a place of fear, then you will absolutely not only be fine, but you will have a confident and exciting relationship with financial abundance. Not to mention, this full moon will also bring any feelings to the surface that you may have around your own self-worth. If you're the type of person that has a hard time asking for things, is it because you don't feel worthy? Is it because you will feel like you're burdening someone? Is it because you feel like they will then want you to be indebted to them in some way? This is your opportunity to entertain those questions so that way you can say to yourself, as long as you know your intentions, then you don't have to worry about what someone else thinks, because you will stand in your truth. And if someone tries to manipulate or exercise some sort of power over you, you will exercise your own power right back by not giving in to their manipulative attempts. This is your opportunity, Libra, to create a healthy balance with give and take, with your self-worth and your tendency to overthink what someone else may be feeling. And remind yourself that communication can always clear up any confusion. But above all else, you deserve to have an open, abundant flow of material wealth coming your way, because it equals freedom. It doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden only concerned about money or that you're materialistic. It just means that you're gonna have the freedom to do what you want, when you want, and you will also have the freedom to share as much as you want, when you want, which are two things that really bring fulfillment and joy to your life. So embrace this full moon and all the opportunities it brings in this area. And happy full moon, Libras. Okay, my powerful Scorpios, this is a full moon lunar eclipse in your sign. So this will be in your first house, the house of self. The new moon in Taurus was focused on your relationships, to your outer world, and the people in it. And this full moon is all about you and your inner world. So don't be surprised, Scorpios, if some circumstances come up where you have an opportunity to really stand up for yourself and really establish what it is that you want out of life. This full moon will bring to light any situations that you may have in your life with people who are nothing but takers. Not only takers in the material way, but takers when it comes to their personality and just being energy suckers. And this can play both ways. If you're the one who's an energy sucker in any sort of circumstance, a conflict may come up where this is brought to light. Either way, this is going to be a full moon where not only do you come to some serious realizations about yourself and your happiness, but you will also have the strength and the clarity to make whatever changes are necessary to really transform the energy of the situation to give birth to a more fulfilling life for yourselves, Scorpios. A lunar eclipse is all about having an emotional reset, and the first house ignites the power of the number one for you to really take some major action, make major decisions, and do so from a place of bringing the truth to light about who you are. The areas of your life where you're unhappy and what you're gonna do about that unhappiness, and the areas of your life where you are very happy and grateful and what you intend to do to build on those areas. So this new moon will be a springboard into a new phase for you, Scorpios, where challenges brought on from unresolved pain or insecurity or self-doubt from the past will be a thing of the past. You will no longer have to face similar challenges because you will use this new moon energy to finally reset and redefine who you are right now, what you believe, and how you choose to see the world around you. And you know, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. So be ready for whatever circumstances come up to bring these necessary changes to light, Scorpio. If anyone is ready for going deep in order to achieve major transformation, it is you. So happy full moon, Scorpio. Okay, my powerful Sagittarius, this full moon lunar eclipse will be in your 12th house. So Sagittarius, be ready for a circumstance to arise that may trigger something within you that you didn't even know existed. Meaning a feeling or a memory that you may have blocked out as a defense mechanism. Now, this isn't guaranteed because not everyone has had this sort of experience or been exposed to that level of trauma that's so intense that they buried their reactions to it as a defense mechanism. And in this case, it could just be about bringing awareness to how you feel about the inner you that most people don't get to see. Now, this will be an opportunity for you, Sagittarius, to make sure that you spend some downtime and allow yourself to explore the parts of yourself that usually don't get much attention. You are a pretty ambitious person, just naturally, and you're a doer, so you generally keep yourself pretty busy. And you're also just not the type of person to sit around and play the woe is me victim role, feeling sorry for yourself. And I'm not saying to do this by any means, but this full moon is bringing the opening for you to address any emotional needs that you may have in terms of healing or forgiveness, or it could even just be allowing yourself to open up to someone that you trust and communicate with them from a place of being more vulnerable and exposed without the fear of being misunderstood or judged. Now, anyone who knows a Sagittarius, they're always going to think that they're strong and that they have everything handled, and you are strong and you are very capable, but just because you can do something on your own doesn't mean you should have to. So whether it be with someone you're close to or just some time alone or in a situation where you are emotionally triggered, this full moon is very likely to bring up some emotions that have been suppressed or unaddressed for a while in order to process them and then release them and then hit the reset button and start this next phase feeling light, confident, and with even more clarity than you had before. The 12th house is the house of self-undoing and secrets, and this undoing can be unraveling and releasing heavy energy, undoing your former self to be reborn as the new you. But this is provided that you do your part, which I am fully confident you will do, Sagittarius, because if anyone is capable of facing the truth and dealing with it, that is absolutely you. This is one of those the truth will set you free types of full moons. So be ready for it to be intense, but be ready for the rewards to be just as intense when you embrace whatever comes up and you allow it to flow through you, going from the heavy energy of suppression to the light strength of truth and empowerment. This process will only help you amplify your manifesting power, Sagittarius. You got this, and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Capricorns, this full moon lunar eclipse for you will be in your 11th house. So Capricorns, be ready for some intense emotions to come up around any specific dreams that you may have had that you feel like aren't being fulfilled, meaning any goal or any circumstances that you envision for yourself. If they haven't come to fruition yet, be ready for the feelings around that disappointment to come up. On the flip side, the full moon can also bring things full circle or to a close, so this could also mean something that you've been working really hard for and really hard towards for quite some time, you could finally manifest this. Now, the 11th house can also have a major influence on your social world or your friends group, so if there's any issue that you may have been having with one of your friends, then don't be surprised if the situation comes to a head during this full moon phase. But just know, as with every challenge, it is an opportunity to resolve the situation because the truth will be revealed with this lunar eclipse. And although the truth can be painful at times, it will absolutely be what will bring the freedom and strength to your life. So if some situation does come up, just make sure to get all of the facts and then decide, after communicating what you would need in order to feel better and giving that person the opportunity to show up for you, after taking that path and taking those steps, then decide based on the outcome what your next steps are going to be. At least you will know you have done your part by giving them the necessary information to truly reveal who they are and what they are capable of, not you just expecting them to do the right thing. Some people just don't naturally know, and I know that's hard for you to wrap your head around, but it's true. Now, on the flip side, if there is anything that you've been hiding from a friend, come clean now, because it is very likely to be revealed during the full moon, and it's much better if you're the one to be volunteering the information and bringing that information to light instead of it being forced into the light by certain circumstances. So it looks like this full moon is going to be an intense one for you Capricorns, with some major possibilities of dreams coming true and some possibilities of emotions coming up from unrealized dreams, but those emotions will be transformed into motivation and determination, and also some circumstances that may arise with a friendship that will lead to some rough waters. But whichever of these circumstances come up, they will be bringing the opportunity to transform the energy, which will result in peace and healing. So embrace this time, Capricorns, and happy full moon. Okay, my powerful Aquarius, this full moon lunar eclipse will be in your 10th house. So Aquarius, be ready for some groundbreaking realizations to come up about you and the reality of your career in terms of where you are right now and where you want to be. This full moon will not only bring to light the truth in terms of how much effort you've put into achieving your goals in terms of consistency, commitment, and clarity of vision, but it will also bring some major inspiration and insight into how you can absolutely turn the tables in your favor if you are in a situation where you aren't quite where you want to be yet. So if you find yourself in that sort of situation where you're being the one that people are coming down on, or even if it's you that's coming down on yourself, do not take on that energy. Instead, just embrace the truth, whatever that may be. and immediately recognize that this is one of those moments where it is time to get back up and get motivated and get clear on what it is that you genuinely want, and then go. Anytime I find myself feeling frustrated that I'm not getting the results that I want, or that I'm not where I want to be in life, yes, of course, I will take responsibility for whatever part I have played in holding myself back, but I spend about 0.2 seconds on that. Just enough time to identify where it is I need to make a change. And then I get to implementing those changes. This is that time for you, Aquarius, where you can close the chapter on the former you in terms of whatever tendency you may have had in the past that you know led to undermining your progress. And now you can turn the page to the next chapter where you tap into that explosive, intellectual, ambitious, and clever part of who you are. The part you know that can get results. You do embody fixed energy, which is very capable of being consistent. You just have to make sure that you don't get distracted by the things that you know have nothing to do with you moving forward. Now, it's necessary, of course, to have time to enjoy life and balance work with play, but make sure it's balanced, because your capability is not in question. You know you're capable of doing whatever you put your mind to. It's just keeping your mind focused on whatever it is that you've put your mind to, and then keeping your actions in alignment with that focus. And this full moon lunar eclipse can be just that moment of change from the old you into the new you, Aquarius. So let's go. This is the perfect time for you to get in the flow in preparation for Gemini season, which is going to be a big one for you. So happy full moon, Aquarius. Okay, my powerful Pisces. Now this full moon lunar eclipse will be in your 9th house. So Pisces, be ready for some intense emotions to come up for you in terms of you looking at your life and then comparing yourself in terms of the you that you are right now to the life that you may have dreamed you would have had by this point. Now, this full moon in Scorpio is going to bring the whole grass is greener perspective. It's going to bring that perspective in full force to your consciousness. So don't let it in. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. This is a time for you to actually just embrace the idea that your soul is on a journey, and you may not know the exact reason why everything has unfolded the way that it has, but you will absolutely do yourself an injustice if you do not embrace who you are and where you are right now in life, and just say to yourself, this is exactly where I'm at, and I'm gonna make the most of it. We have all made what we would consider to be mistakes. We have all fallen short of our goals, but what is going to bring you fulfillment and joy, Pisces, is when you say to yourself, no one will take the power away from you when it comes to choosing how you decide to look at your life. This full moon will bring the opportunity for you to reignite your excitement for life with a vision connected to where you are right now, but with even greater possibilities and new goals for the future. Not based on your former self, but based on who you are right now, who you have become at this point in your journey. Now, this inspiration will come in the form of a teaching, either through study or through a spiritual group that you belong to, or even through some sort of travel. However it manifests, be on the lookout for a new perspective to touch you in a way that really changes the game for you. You may have been going through some really high highs and some really low lows lately, but this full moon is going to bring balance. Balance through clarity, and the truth will be revealed to you, Pisces, in terms of where you are right now and where you are going. This is set up to be an exciting one for you, Pisces, because it's all about spiritual transformation. Not necessarily about money or relationships or career goals, but really just about life and how you see it, who you are in it. And you will come out on the other side of this full moon feeling healed, renewed, and ready to make 2022 all it can possibly be. So happy full moon, Pisces. Okay, so there you have it. The top 3 things you need to know about this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, along with some insight into how your sign can make the most of this full moon energy. I hope you all enjoyed the information. If you did, please don't forget the baby tap. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.